this afternoon to the Majlis Ash-Shura, State of the Muslim Address in Town Hall. We want to open up now with recitation, inshallah. Okay, we're going to have a recitation by Ismail Muhammad.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. فإن أصدق الحديث كلام الله سبحانه وتعالى، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة في ديننا ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. ثم أما بعد, with the organizers of the event asking for us to start off recitation of Quran, so complying with their command, we start with the recitation of a few ayahs from Surah Al-Baqarah about the month of Ramadan, since we are in the month of fasting. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريض أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصم ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولا تكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعان فليستجيبوا لي وليؤمنوا بي لعلهم يرشدون. In Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in ayah 183, fasting has been prescribed to you just as it was to those who came before you, so you may gain taqwa. And in the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ says about the month of Ramadan, من صام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. That whosoever fasts expecting reward and hope from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they won't fast without their sins being forgiven. We ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do that for us. Allahumma ameen. In the next ayah, 184, he says that fasting is only for a limited or fixed amount of days. He said, whoever is on a journey, then he doesn't fast. But outside of the month of Ramadan, the days that he didn't fast, he makes up for those days in equal number. And he says that those who fast, but it's hard on them fasting, that it's permissible for them to break the fast, but with feeding a person for not fasting. But he said, fasting is best for you if only ye but knew. And then the next ayah 185, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. In the month of Ramadan is the month in which Quran was revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he said, it has been sent as clear guidance and proof and criteria. And he said that, so whoever sights the moon of a new month, then let him fast in it. And he said, whoever is on a journey, then let him make up the days, like he said in the previous ayah. And then after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intends ease on us and never hardship. And then he says, so complete the month and glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to that which He has guided you to, so you can be grateful. We ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who are grateful. Allahumma ameen. And breaking down this one ayah, the part where he says, so whoever sights the moon of a new month, then let him fast in it. In the hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Sumu li ru'yati wa aftiru li ru'yati." He says, start your fast upon moon sighting and end your fast upon moon sighting. And in this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that this is the month in which Quran was revealed. It shows that Ramadan is the month where tilawat of Quran is most important. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to read Quran to Jibril al-Amin alayhi salatu wassalam once a year. The only month that he used to read Quran to Jibril was the month of Ramadan. In the final year of Prophet ﷺ living, he read Quran to our angel Jibril twice. يعرض على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أو يعرض الرسول الله عليه وكل عام على جبريل يعرضه وخيل آخر عام عرضتين قرأ أي عرضتين قرأ الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. That Jibril used to come once a year listen to Prophet ﷺ read Quran. Only in the month of Ramadan, in his final year, he came twice to show the importance of reading Quran in the month of Ramadan. And Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, he was the Imam of Medina. And he used to say about Imam Malik, لا يفتن الناس أحد ومالك بالمدينة. That as long as Imam Malik is alive, we'll never take another Islamic ruling from another scholar as long as Imam Malik is living. He was the Imam of fiqh. He used to open the Quran in front of his students in the month of Ramadan, and he would say to them, أتاكم رمضان شهر الصيام والقرآن. He said that Ramadan has come. Ramadan is not the month of fiqh. Ramadan is not the month of hadith. Rather, Ramadan is the month of fasting and tilawat of Quran. So we ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who read the Quran in His blessed month. Allahumma ameen. And in the last ayah, he says, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاءِ إِذَا دَعَانِي فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. He said in the last ayah, when my servants ask you about me, Ya Muhammad, tell them that I am near. And tell them that I respond to the one who's calling upon me, so let them respond to me in obedience. And believe in me, and let me guide them. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who are guided. Allahumma ameen. Those were just some verses of Quran about the blessed month of Ramadan and showing the importance of reciting Quran in the blessed month of Ramadan. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those. Allahumma ameen. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like he said in ayah 183, to end the month of Ramadan with taqwa. The goal of Ramadan is to gain what? Taqwa. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith that the least successful amongst the Muslims are those who end Ramadan with forgiveness, forgiven for all their sins. And the companion said, Ya Rasulullah, how are we the least successful in the month of Ramadan if we are forgiven for all of your sins? The Prophet ﷺ said, Ramadan is a month of guaranteed forgiveness. Rather, it took nothing for you to be forgiven. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wouldn't allow you to see the month without forgiveness. He said the point of Ramadan is to gain taqwa. So we ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who increase in taqwa in the month of Ramadan. Allahumma ameen. And we end with the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhu قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الصيام والقرآن يشفعان للعبد يوم القيامة. Abdullah ibn Amr said that the Prophet ﷺ said, As-siyamu, fasting, wal-Qur'anu, and reciting Qur'an will be an intercessor for you on the day of Qiyamah. Allahumma ameen. We ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to never deprive us of that, Allahumma ameen. We ask Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preserve our hearts and preserve our communities, Allahumma ameen. We don't want to go over much. We need to talking to the Imam, inshallah ta'ala, didn't هذا وصلى الله وسلم على المبارك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون السلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah, we thank Ismail for that recitation and that explanation. Inshallah, right now we want to do welcoming comments. So we'd like to welcome you all here this afternoon for the Majlis Ash-Shura State of the Muslim Address, as well as the Town Hall meeting. So we welcome you all for our 2024 session. Okay, so this afternoon, it is to discuss a few things, to hear some words from our Amir, the leader of the Majlis Ash-Shura, and also to discuss some of the things that are taking place in the Muslim community, where we are, where we try to go, some input from you all as our guests and our audience and our brothers and sisters, but also to have you all join up with the Majlis Ash-Shura. Because what you see up here now is part of the Majlis Ash-Shura Executive Committee. The Executive Board, the Executive Committee is made up of imams throughout the city and throughout the Delaware Valley. And so that is the Executive Board, but we have opened it up, the general body and the general board, to the Muslim membership. And we want you all to take your rightful position in this group, this here group. Myself, I've been part of the Majlis Ash-Shura for over 35 years. So it's definitely something, it's one of the strongest, lasting groups throughout the country, anywhere in the country, where the imams meet the first Sunday of every month. All right, we switch around, rotate to different masjids, but we've been doing that for well over 40 years here in the Delaware Valley. So Allah bless the imams, those of us who have participated, those of us who continue to participate. And today, inshallah, we want to hear from the imams here and hear from you all and try to figure out how do we make that marriage, right? How do we fix some of the ills and wrongs that are going on in the Muslim community, and how do we address it? Because the Prophet ﷺ said that there's 3 ways that you change a wrong. First is just hate it in your heart and don't do anything about it. Right? So the second is to meet about it, speak out about it, have general meetings like this, talk about it, talk it out. And he said the third is the strongest of faith is to change it with your hands. Okay, so in this city we have over 450,000 Muslims, over 66 masjids, and so we want to make that marriage between the imams and the business people, you know, the people that have expertise in our community, so that we can really, you know, get this thing rolling and all hands on deck. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. At this time, I want to turn it over to Brother Rafiq to give you an overview of the Majlis Ash-Shura. I mean, let's see, want me to do it? Give them an overview of where we are, right? What we've been doing lately, some of the committees, some of the things that are happening in the Majlis Ash-Shura, so people can know what we're doing and what we are, and they can join up to be a part of it.
Assalamu alaikum.
I think it's all.
Can you hear me?
Okay, they probably can't hear you outside.
Assalamu
Praise God.
alaikum. First of all, I want to say that I'm the chair of the Economic Development Committee. I am not an imam. I've been invited and asked to participate in the Majlis Ash-Shura going back to November of 2022 and serving in that particular capacity. So I don't want anybody to have any misinformation that I'm representing the imamship. So anyway, as Imam Sajuddin explained, that we meet the first Sunday of every month, and it rotates from community to community. We last met at Masjid Taha, hosted by Imam Yusuf. So the various different committees that exist in the Majlis Ash-Shura, I go down the list. We have communication committee, we have the Dawah committee, we have the finance committee, we have a youth and education committee, security committee, moon sighting, Islamic pastoral care, education, sisters committee, civic engagement, fundraising, and now the economic development committee. So those are the various different committees that exist. So during the course of the monthly meetings, everyone that's there is in attendance. Everyone that's there in attendance, either from one that may be an imam that's leading a particular committee, or a chairperson that is chairing a particular committee. Over the last 12 months, I don't have all of the information, but I would suggest that anyone who wants to find out what has transpired over the last 12 months, review our website, which is philly-majlis.com, and you'll see some of the activities that we've had over the last year. Last year, we acquired a corporate office down at 1515 Market Street to increase our presence and accountability. So that was one of the things that we did. Last year, we also, over the last 12-month period, we held our first Islamic Expo fair at the school district. And we gathered there at least about 12 different Islamic schools that came to talk about the various different programs that they have at their various locations. And that was the first time we did that. That is going to become an annual event, and that was chaired and coordinated by Dr. Leo Schultz and Brother Imam, Mutaki. So those were some of the things. We've also supported the Islamic Food Fair. We made contributions to that particular event that took place out in Phoenixville. We've had very different conversations with individuals that have met with us at the end of our executive meeting, going to the general meeting, just talking about the issues that have been confronting them. So we've been addressing those particular issues on behalf of the Muslim community. The Imam Nadir is here. Just to give you an idea of our Treasury report as of March. Our Treasury report was $8,198.45, and that was back in March. So it probably has increased by this particular time, because the various different massages contribute money to the operation of the Majlis Ash-Shura. There's some other activities that are taking place. We've been meeting with the individuals from the Midwest. There's a group of individuals from the Midwest that have initiated a movement called Abandon Biden. So we've been meeting with them since about November of 2023, more or less, to let them know our particular position. They've been focusing on some of the states that are battleground states, as they refer to that. And we let them know that we were not participating with them and in agreement with that. Recently, they had a press conference here. We put together a statement. We made a statement known to the community, and we made a statement available to all of the imams and leadership, so that we could show that we were basically united on one particular front. So those are some of the areas. I don't have the actual overview, but on the website you'll see that was published in the January newsletter. It talks about all of the activities that have taken place from that over a 12-month period for the whole year of 2023. So if anybody has any questions or comments or want to add to that, feel free.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so at this time, inshallah, we're going to turn it over to our mayor. Okay. I'm sorry, yeah, somebody lost this piece right here, a little wallet, look like a keychain. If somebody lost this, we have it right up here up front. Okay? So we're going to turn it over to the mayor now for comments.
Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, wa nasta'inu wa nasta'kihi wa nasta'firuh. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alaihi wasallam. La ilaha illallah wa la sharika lahu. Lahul mulku lahul hamd yuhyi wa yumiitu bi kulli shay'in qadir. Alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters, inshallah, we thank Allah for affording us another day above dirt. Thank Allah for allowing us to live to see another Ramadan. And alhamdulillah, we thank Allah for allowing us to gather here today for the sake of doing something, for the sake of being pleasing to Allah. And for that we say shukr Allah, because Allah says that verily man is an ingrate. And you know, there are many brothers and sisters who were with us last Ramadan who are now not with us. They've moved on. And there are those who were with us last week. They really lived to see Ramadan start. So there's going to be those who are with us now in Ramadan. And when Ramadan ends, they will have gone on also. And that could be either you or I. There could be in that number of those who won't be here when Ramadan is ending. So we don't want to take any of the days for granted. And we don't want to take any of the moments that Allah permits us together for granted. And we don't want to belittle them or make small of the possibility of their benefit if we pay attention to actually bring ourselves to the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and see ourselves coming together to do something that will be pleasing to Allah, beneficial to ourselves when we're in the grave, beneficial to ourselves when we meet Allah on the day of Qiyamah. I mean, we have a lot of work that's been going on, and one of the things that they asked me to mention to kind of talk about was the state of our Muslim community and the state of us in this area. And we know that for all of us who have been involved, and we can see that there is actually room for us to grow. Meaning there is always, the largest room in the world is room for improvement. And so therefore there's always room for all of us to grow, and we're all struggling to grow individually. And this is the month when we come in, it's like the annual tune-up. Like you take your car in for the tune-up. You know, so when it's time for a tune-up, you take your car in for the tune-up, and you come back out, all the pistons are firing right, all the spark plugs is right, and the oil is changed, and the transmission fluid is changed, and everything is realigned and everything. So Ramadan is that for the human being. So the Muslims, we know that, you know, so the prayers that we've been missing, we don't want to miss them. The ones we haven't been making on time, we want to make on time. The things that we're doing that could be more pleasing to Allah, we want to be more pleasing to Him. The things that we're doing that wasn't pleasing to Allah, we want to do less of that, none of that, and remove that from our doings. And so we bring ourselves in now for the full alignment. And this alignment brings us in alignment by way of the obedience to the Quran. And so this is also, as was said earlier, this is the month of the Quran. And so we are focused on reading the Quran to bring ourselves into compliance and be more pleasing to Allah. And you know, this it's something that we better pay attention to, because you can't go through Ramadan and take it lightly as though it's something that you automatically will get again, or that it's something that you automatically have benefit just because you live to see it. You know, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu he let us know that it was said that one time as he was going up the minbar to do the khutbah for the Jummah, and he said, Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. He said Ameen 3 times. And when he got up on the minbar to turn around and do the khutbah, he just started the khutbah normally. He didn't say anything about why he said Ameen. So when he finished, the Sahabas, they went to him, the companions went to him, they said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's a strange thing we just saw you do. You said Ameen, Ameen, and Ameen. And you turned around and you started talking to us. You didn't tell us why you said Ameen. Can you please tell us why you said Ameen? He said, yes, because when I put my foot on the first step, Jibril Islam said, woe, cursed be the one that their parents or one of them is still living and they find no way to Jannah. Say Ameen, Muhammad, Ameen. And then he stepped on the second step. He said to me, cursed be the one that Ramadan comes and they find no forgiveness. Say Ameen, Muhammad, Ameen. He said, On the third step, he said, cursed be the one that they hear your name mentioned, they don't send salutations and prayers upon you. So as a result, he said, say Ameen, Muhammad, Ameen. As a result, when we hear the name of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we're all saying sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we send the prayers and peace upon him. We don't want to be among the cursed. Well, we also don't want to be among the cursed that Ramadan has come and we find no forgiveness. So that's a very, very serious thing. And you know the whole earth, whether they declare their belief in Allah or not, the whole earth fasts. Every human being on earth fasts. Every creature, the dogs, the cats, they all fast. The cows, all human beings fast, whether they believe in Allah or not. Because, fasting is when you don't have any argument, and you're not eating, you're not drinking, you're not having sexual intercourse with your spouse, you're not fighting, you're not cursing. And when you're not doing those things, everybody's not doing any of those things when they're asleep. And when they wake up from their sleep, what do they say? Let's have dinner? No, they don't say let's have dinner. They say let's break fast. Let's have breakfast. I got to break the fast. Because everybody's fasting. But you and I, in the month of Ramadan, we get a chance to fast, feast to be the Lord. We get a chance to fast to be pleasing to Allah. It's the only one thing that you can do for Allah. It's nothing else you can do for Him. He allows this month of Ramadan for us to fast for Him. Because the human being has to fast anyway. Like it or not. But Allah affords us now the opportunity to fast for Him. And the reward for that fast, beyond being forgiven for your sins for last year, the reward for that fast is a great blessing for the one who fasts when they meet Allah, having been one who fasted and is rewarded because his fast has been accepted. It says only 2 times the one who is fasting has great joy in his fast. Like some of y'all right now might be sitting here, your stomach might be growling. Some of you, your mouth might be a little dry right now. You've been holding on. You almost made it through. But you thinking about that 7 o'clock moment. It's about to come. Because you know why? When you hit that growl in your stomach, that ain't when you got the most joy. When you feel your tongue getting dry, and you can't even swallow your spit, that ain't when you feel the most joy. But as soon as you hear that adhan from Maghrib, it's an exciting reality. You take that drink of water, you break that fast. It's a great joy. It's only 2 times the one who's fasting for the sake of Allah will find joy in his fasting. It's when he breaks his fast, like we were doing a little while together. And when he meets Allah having been one who fasted. That's going to be a great joy. So, we want to come together and we want to have the spirit of that reality, of that fast, and that kind of joy to bring us together to say, let's hear what it is that's before us, and let us see how we can come together and continue to refine ourselves to work together to actually make a difference. That when we're in the grave, it's still making a difference. Knowing that all of us are on our way to the graves. So, our community is really in a state of I want to say almost delusional. Because we find that the workers are few, and it's always been few to do, but we find that there's so much for us to do, and yet so much that we're not doing, but then we have the conversation as though we are doing so much because we're doing it all in our conversation rather than the application. So there's a lot of conversations that's going on among Muslims. Just beautiful conversations in language, but the Quran said this, the Quran said that, Rasulullah said this, the Rasulullah said that. But when it comes to application, you can't find nobody that show up for the work. And it says, those who believe and do the righteous deeds. That's who Allah talks to as far as being the ones who are successful. Those who believe and do the deeds. So that means they're the ones who believe and they do. So we have to be at a point where we have to get past where we're just impressed by conversation, and yet still don't hold each other accountable to application. There has to be, because that's why there's a survey that's been done across the country in many of the cities, and it's making an assessment on most of the indigenous Muslims in America, mostly the African descent Muslims in America, and their masjids all across the country, and the conditions of our Jamaats. And what they found is that a lot of our Jamaats, they have in them us, the elders, then they have our children, or the children of them, and the same way that you and I have come to the masjid and be committed, that generation has found themselves committed to the dunya rather than to the deen. And then we try to, with our conversations, navigate around the consequence of them being in dunya rather than deen because of the work we haven't done in having them within the confines of the deen. So a lot of it is because of the ball we dropped, not because they just went away. And because we haven't sincerely come to a sincere mode of mutual consultation based in Tawheed of how to align ourselves right to make a difference, then we talk about what's happening in the environments in our neighborhoods like it's somebody else other than us. When really, it's the results of us. So that means we have to come to a point of seeing that how are we going to begin to address the real things that are our condition? Because the youth that's in the street that are doing a lot of the things that we hear about on the news that they won't stop talking about, you'll find that a lot of those youths that's doing those things are Muslims. And the children are Muslims. And when you hear the name on the TV, you hear the Muslim names, but the other part you don't realize is that the one that didn't sound like a Muslim was the Muslim also. So, then when you hear about, then you find out the janazah is going on. What janazah was that? Oh, that's the janazah the little brother just got gunned down the other day. Really? Okay, so another Muslim. But then where are the men, the Muslim men, that hear that and then find that as an alert for them to show up somewhere to make something happen? But when we get together in our little masjids, we come for the prayer, we got all kinds of conversations, beautiful conversations. Oh, Rasul Sallam said this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this in the Quran. Alhamdulillah. But who talks about, that's the neighborhood I came from, that's my family down there, let me go get to them, I know who it is, let's go handle that. Let's go make a difference. Like for many of us, this generation I'm in, many of us, there was people that came in the neighborhood to make a difference. They weren't afraid to come talk to us because we had a knife, we had a gun. They came in the neighborhood because they were from there. So if you and I are listening to the things that's happening in our own neighborhoods, and then at the same time, we being the ones that Allah said, you the best community involved for the benefit and good of all mankind. So the community that's the best benefit and good for all mankind, they don't stand up and show up. What do we expect to happen to our communities? So, this being the moment of Ramadan, this month of Ramadan, and this being the point where we're coming in for the tune-up, we're coming in for the alignment. We have to come in for the alignment to find ourselves doing the work. Because without the work, nothing's going to change. and nobody else can do it for us. So when they did a survey about, well, rank the priorities. They did this survey, and I think about 35 or 40 different states in the country. And at the end of it, they did a survey, and they came up with what was the ranking for the program priorities that they think is needed in our communities. And one of the things they put on, the first thing they said they came up with, that was this is the people that were surveyed, what do you think we need? They said we need programs for youth ages of 5 to 17. The little brother that got gunned down last week, he was 17. And the one that got gunned down some days after that was 16. And the little ones that's running around the Massachusetts now, they 5. But they'll soon be 7 and 8 and 9. And we don't have anything for them. We just give them a conversation and then expect them to run through this here complicated nation and get it all right. It's not going to happen like that. So there's work for us to do. So the second thing they said was we needed healthy marriage programs. Now I know all the imams know, and I guess you all see too, the process in our communities. Our marriages is falling apart. Brothers get married, today and they want to divorce next week. I rush to you, say, man, brother, man, we want to get married, Okay, that's fine. When you want to do it? ASAP. Well, when is that? Right now, if we can. Right now, well, where's the wali? Where's the wakil? Where's the family? So we have sisters being taken advantage of, then we have sisters taking advantage of brothers in the process also, because they're not operating in accordance to what Allah has given us as directive for a Muslim. And nobody's checking it. And as a result, we end up with people with all kinds of conditions, and we got marriages that's being destroyed, and children being destroyed in the process within those marriages. Then they came up and they said, young adults aged 18 to 34 programs for them. Well, I think 18 to 34, that's when we was actually trying to do the work, weren't we?
Yes.
So it's like, many of us, we was 18, 19 years old, you came right in ready to work. They come in now, and they taking shahada by the tons. I'm sure all the masters experience the same thing. 12, 13, 14 people taking shahada every week. And after that, what happens? These out the wind. We don't have anything for them. Why? Because nobody wants to show up, nobody wants to do the work. Nobody wants to give time to say, I can teach a new shahada class. You don't have to be an imam to teach a shahada class. Teach somebody how to pray. Just teach some basic things to a new person just came in, that the world is going to be calling them back. If the guy just came in last week, he was with his boy, he was with his buddies, he was drinking, he was getting high, he was doing that was the way of the world. And now all of a sudden he came in among us. He can't find nobody to be among that ain't drinking, ain't in the way of the world. Or he come among us, and this is the tragedy. Now he done became a Muslim, and he was prepared to do something different and change his life. Or she was prepared to do something and change her life. And she now took her shahada, and he took his shahada, only to find out that the one he was looking at, and he thought they were sincere Muslims, they out there doing the same thing he just came from doing. So that's why I say it's almost like delusional. Because we want to see a change, but we don't bring no accountability for the change. So the state of our condition is that we have to begin to make a difference in calling those forward. Because those of us that's doing the work, and all the sisters is here, and the brothers is here, that you've been on the battlefield all this time, your time is limited. Your your days is numbered. You're on your way out. You're on your way to cross over to the other side to meet your Lord. And the bottom line is, if we don't have any other hands on deck, how do we pass on what it was that we got? So we have to see that it has to become important that the ones who are coming, that they actually in a position where they can gain the knowledge of what they've come to. Because right now it's almost like it's a fad. They took the Shahada, now they Muslim, and so they just cool now because they're Muslim. But they ain't changed nothing in their behavior, changed nothing in their mannerisms, and there was no classes for them to know they're supposed to change, or how to change, or how to refute that Shaitan's going to come against them, that open enemy that's going to suggest to them, it's going to whisper to them. And then Allah says to us, why is it that you say that which you do not? O Muslim, the one who say believe, why is it that you say that which you do not? Because grievously odious is in the sight of Allah that you say that which you do not. And so, he also says, woe to those who hinder men from the path of Allah. Brothers and sisters, we got a condition that's so serious that we have them coming to the deen by droves. And we also have the example that they're seeing is not one of sincerity among those of us who've already been around. I remember I went to the neighborhood because there was a feud going on. And so as the Muslims, we stepped in between the guns. But I made a mistake. And Allah forgive me for making a mistake. But I've learned from it. Because I made an announcement in Juma. You know, if there's something going down in the city, it's time we got to go. We need the men on deck. All the men is at Juma. Make the announcement for the men. We got to go. We got to move out, brother. We got to move out. And we moved out. And we got there. And I started talking to them. Both sides there. And the brother said to me, OG, he didn't say you, man. He said, OG, we understand everything you said, OG. He pulled me to the side and said, OG, let me speak to you. He said, OG, you know, what you said, everything you said is correct. You said, what you said wrong, you're right. You're right. He said, but you know what? That dude is down there with you, man. When y'all leave, he coming back. Because he want his money because we got his package. And then I realized you can't make no announcement publicly because the guy that you asked for the men to stand up, he not going to not sit back down. You just ask the men to stand up. He don't want nobody to know he wouldn't go forward. But then he got to get to the joint. He got to sit and lay in the background, whatever you talking about to them, because he know he can't make no move on it because he the armchair general of the package. So whatever feud is going on over the package or over something about that's related to the package, he can't be the one to be the interject to make the difference because he's the person, he's the deliverer of the package. We got that kind of stuff among us. And so, and then you have new shahadas that come in, and it's like the sister said at the last town hall meeting. She said that when she came to the masjid, it ain't like it used to be. The sisters is cold. You know, we got like cliques. If you ain't part of the clique, you know, you don't feel welcome. She said, when I came in, she said, one time, she said, I was gone for a whole year. Yes, I messed up. I went back out to the world, and I was gone for a whole year. I came back, it was like the sisters treated me like I never left. They gave me the warmth and love of a sister. And that affected her life and changed her. And now she's on point, going forward, saying, where was that at? Because there's some houses when they coming right now. Where's that for them? So everybody's like in their world. So we're so pious, we're so knowledgeable now. And you know, we had more unity before, and we didn't have the knowledge we got, and we got today with all the knowledge we got. So we have a lot of issues that we got to deal with. And then they went on to say, and then the next thing was premarital education. Premarital education, that was number 4. Number 5 was increasing faith and commitment among attendees. And we try to do now. Commitment among attendees. that we'll have you as a part of the workers that's involved. And then they said, more cooperation and unity among the masjids. So we see that there are many, many masjids, like the manager said, there are over 66 masjids here in Philadelphia, in Delaware Valley. In Philadelphia alone, he's got over 66 masjids. But the unity among us is what we still got to work on. We have to work on it because it's not really there. You know, some masjids in the city, they say, well, you can't go to that masjid because they ain't on it. They ain't on it. Don't go there. But all of them is the house of Allah, but you say don't go there. But the Prophet ﷺ said to us that all the masjids is the same. So then they brought something different. They said that one ain't, that one ain't, that one ain't, that one there ain't it, that one ain't it. This is the one you got to go to be it. But Rasulullah said that they're all the same. You get the same blessings from praying. Anyone you can get, they can have gold lights, gold ceilings. It's the same amount of blessings for praying in one that all it's got is dirt. The only ones you get more blessings in is if you in Al-Aqsa, you in Nabawiyah, the Prophet Sallallahu Masjid in Medina, or you at the Kaaba in Mecca. If you ain't those three places, every other masjid you go to on earth got the same amount of blessings. So what do we have? We got something else. We've been infected by something that came from outside of us. And we haven't been able to fully address that, to find ourselves back in the cohesiveness that we need to be, that we can make an impact and change in the communities that we're living in, that there's no hope for that change. If the Muslims can't be the change, if you and I don't show up, then how do they grow up? If you and I don't show up, how do they grow up? They're going to grow up in chaos. They're going to grow up in ruin. They're going to grow up in loss because this world is suggesting that they can do everything Allah say don't do, they can legally do. So we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this month, you know, because the greatest weapon of the believer is dua. So this is the month where we can be, see, we clean ourselves up, we're making ourselves better before Allah. Then let us make dua that Allah help us, to help ourselves, to help our communities, to help our families, to help our neighborhoods, and all the neighborhoods that we're in, the one you live in, that it be helped, the one I live in be helped, the one that all of us live in, it be helped, because we're present. Inshallah, not that we just go by and then we don't know who our neighbors are. A lot of us don't know our neighbors. So how can you apply neighborly needs, you don't even know the neighbor? When the last time you went to bed, you checked the neighbor before you went to bed to make sure he did get something to eat, or she did get something to eat? When the last time? So it's work for all of us to do. And this is the month where we can do it, and inshallah, I mean, there are many, many things that we can do, and we got many committees to get them done. And inshallah, we're trying to invite more and more people to do it, and more and more people to be involved so we can actually elevate to another level. You know, because I look at the conditions that we have that were among us. It's like there's, one time there was a fly, a bug, that got into the cabin of an airplane. And this bug was bothering everybody, and nobody could get him. They were trying to hit him, they couldn't get him. And it was a mess inside the cabin. Everybody, this bug is bothering them. To the point that the stewardesses had to let the captain know it's a problem on here because we got a bug on here. The captain came on the line. Good afternoon, this is your captain here. I just wanted to let everybody know, just be patient. Please be patient. I'm aware that you're going through a little situation back there, but what I'm going to do, we're about to go up to a high altitude. And once we get up to that high altitude, that bug not going to be able to survive. It's going to die. So us as a community, we got to go to a high altitude so that bug will be dead. Take ourselves to a higher flight. And inshallah, that's what the Majlis is trying to do. We're trying to work to bring ourselves to a higher flight, a higher elevation, to the point that the work that's there for us to do, we will do, and will benefit those that we actually serve, because we serve the whole humanity. So inshallah, we'll have more workers from among the Muslims as a part of that, because we will all elevate ourselves to a high level. And this month of Ramadan is the best time for that elevation, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, we have the other imams up here. We're going to give them a chance to say a few words too. But one of the things is that what the Emir just gave you was the State of the Muslim Address, right? And that's the state that we are in. And so you have to have that. The President just did the State of the Union Address a couple days ago, what have you. And we are a big organization, a big movement. And we need to know our condition, our state, and how do we fix it and how do we get out of it. But when we bring you all here, and I'm glad you all came out tonight, and Allah bless you all, for coming out, and grant you all paradise, One of the things is that we want to get a chance, we want to hear from the other imams, but one of the things is that we need to try to find out, right, we're going to go back to the Majlis Ash-Shura, and I think that this thing should probably be done maybe 3 times, maybe a year, right, because you all come out, we got a break, we got about an hour left, right, so it's not really a lot of time, right, we haven't even heard from you all yet. So we got about an hour left before it's time to go ahead and break and so forth. But the thing is this right here, is that we have to make time to get this thing under control and get this situation straightened out. Because I like the word that he used, delusional, right? The Muslim community is delusional. That's the condition of the Muslim community. I couldn't find a better word for it. It took him an hour to come up with it. But he finally came up with it, right? The Muslim community is delusional. And that's where we are, right? Because a lot of times people don't even want to hear the stuff that he was talking about, right? Because they said it's too depressing, right? Our condition is depressing. And if we don't talk about it, we're not going to be able to fix it, right? So we got to meet again. The Prophet said you got to meet about it, you got to talk about it, you got to talk it out, right? And we need to hear from you all. Some of the things that we had on the agenda today, when we talked to some of the believers, we talked about domestic violence, right, against men and women, domestic violence in the Muslim community, right? We talked about foster care, right? And we want to have a whole conference for family life conference around domestic violence, around foster care, because what's happening is that Muslim children are in foster care and they're being put in Christian homes, Catholic homes. They're forced to eat pork, they're forced to go to church, right? They're forced to live how those parents are making them live, right? Because you're only a child. In this house, you're going to do like I tell you to do. And so we have to address that foster care situation. We have to address the young people that the Emir talked about that are still 1 foot in, 1 foot out, 2 feet out. The whole gang situation. Of not being, and a lot of this boils down really to education, right? It boils down to knowledge and education, because one of the things is, right, we can't make people do stuff, right? We could be hard on you, we could be forceful on you, and then if that happens, you're only going to do it when we forceful on you, when we make you do it. We don't want to do that. We want the people to really let this Islam grow inside of you, so that you be able to do it on your own. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, right? There's no compulsion in religion. You can't make nobody do nothing. Allah don't want you to make nobody do nothing on His behalf. He said, no, I want them to be able to do it on their own. I want them to do it willingly. And so we have to get to the point where as though we instilling that into the people, where as though they want to do it, right? Because Allah sees everything. When nobody else is watching you, when nobody else is telling you to do it, right, you have to do it because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees everything. And so we need more time to do this. We're not going to cut this out tonight. We're so glad that you all came out. But if we be fooling ourselves to think that we're going to get through this tonight, we haven't heard from you all yet. We haven't heard your concerns. We want to hear from you, right? We want to hear from you, because the whole thing is, when I seen the flyer, and it's probably one of the reasons why we don't have the people here, not those best, I'm going to send who He's going to send. But the thing is, it said a community meeting. And I said to myself, I'm in 40 meetings a day. I'm not going to no more meetings. That's why we wanted it to be built as a town hall, as a State of the Muslim address. Because if you're going to address the state, I want to hear that. Right? If you're going to have a town hall where I can give feedback and I can be involved, I want to come. But if you're going to have a meeting, I don't want to go to no more meetings. right? You all don't want to go to no more meetings. People fasting, people hungry. He said, another meeting? If it don't pertain to me, I don't want to go to no more meetings. So no matter how depressing our condition is, we're not going to change it if we don't figure it out, or if we don't talk about it, if we don't do something about it. And what I said in the beginning, this is the executive committee up here, part of us, and you all are the body. And when we leave out of here, we need to see in the sign-up sheet who's going to join up with the Majlis Ash-Shura, right? What your expertise are, what you're going to bring to the table, because we can't do it by ourselves. We can't do it alone. We can't do it. We can't do it. Most of us are imams and so forth. People are teachers and everything. They can give all the cookbooks in the world, but they don't know about financing. They don't know about business, right? Some of us don't know about education. And we have you all out there, and that's a lot of you expertise, and you all know about it. We don't know about foster care. We got people that know about foster care. I mean, that's what she does. She does foster care. So we need to hear from you all, how do we fix it? Because if you ask us, well, what y'all want to do about foster care? We don't know the first thing about it. So we need to hear from you all out there about what you all think and what you're going to bring to the table, how you're going to join up with us, how you're going to start showing up at the meetings, how you're going to be involved in it. Because if we just keep on talking to you and talking to you, we're going to lose you. Right? So let's show we have Imam Yusuf here, and he's going to say a few words because he has one of the biggest jobs. He's also the assistant emir of the Majlis Ash-Shura, but he also has the team of the Dawah team, heads up the Dawah team, which is Dawah is going to be very, very important.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm just going to make a few brief comments. Alhamdulillah for everybody who came out here today to this historic meeting. Town Hall for me is about unity. We have to be unified in order to go forward. I'm not going to talk long. Two people who's unified are better than 8 people who is disunified. With the two, it's a start, it's an edifice. We constantly moving forward, building unity. This is what we have to do as Muslims. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the young brother read some Quran earlier. Allah don't want to make religion a burden for us. The religion shouldn't be a burden for us. It's just about working together, communicating to one another, and getting the work done. Dawah, as everyone knows, is invitation to Islam. Alhamdulillah, the Dawah is going forward. People are coming into Islam, as we all know, in record numbers, but still our condition is the same. Still the condition is the same is because we are not taking those giant steps. And the giant steps, it begins with a simple thing called Muslim unity. Every household got a head of household. Every school got a principal. Every city got a mayor. Every state got a governor. Every country got a president or an emir, right? You need leadership because leadership is the thing that fights against laziness, people not being compassionate. The Imam talked about going to bed at night with your belly full and your neighbor not eating. We have to be passionate. It's Ramadan. But it starts with a simple thing, and it's called Muslim unity. When we said the Shahada, La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, this is something that unifies us. In Ramadan, we're told to recite it often in the month of Ramadan. La ilaha illallah. It's called Kalima Tayyibat, the good words. We recite these words because this encourages us to be together, to build Muslim unity. I'm going to make one more point and I'm going to stop, Imams. Right now, with everybody seeing going on in the world, right? The world got leaders. The world has leaders. I just showed you, every country got a president or a mayor or a king, right? The leaders are not listening to the people. Look at the country we're in right now, America. They involved in a war against Muslims. A lot of Muslims in America, a lot of non-Muslims in America. Everybody in the country is telling the president, cease fire, stop the war. He ain't doing it. He's not listening to you. What happens? What has to happen when the body is telling the head, you better listen to us? What happens if the head don't listen to the body? One single body part can choke the head. One single body part. The head has to listen to the body. The body has to listen to the head. This is how you get progress. So I'm only citing this example. America, Great Britain, a whole bunch of countries, even Muslim countries. We don't take anything for granted. Sometimes we see people, we think, oh, alhamdulillah, you know, they good Muslims and stuff like that. And in reality, they're not. If you talk to the people, you'll hear horror stories. You won't believe it. So we don't take anything for granted. We know the single most important thing to straighten out all of the problems is that we have to unify. We have to be together. The leadership has to fight for this type of unity. And then without it, we're not gonna be fooling ourselves. You know, there's a lot of dissatisfaction with leaders who don't listen to the people. So what we're here to say to you all today, we are listening to you. You tell us what you want, what we need. And it's our job to listen to you. We have the Quran. The Quran is the book of guidance from now to Yom Kippur. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, said that the ones who follow the Quran and the Sunnah, they'll never go astray. You won't mess up if you just stick to this method. So I just want to say that, brothers and sisters, we really want to hear from you all. I don't want to be long. I want you to tell us some concerns. Keep in mind, Muslim unity is the single most important thing. You know, we have to listen to you. You listen to us, and that's how we get things done. And Jazakallah khair.
So let me ask you, right, because we have the other emails up here, so we're going to promise that we're going to give everybody at least, let them say 1 minute. You want to speak for them? Say something. Yeah, so we're going to try to just give them, please, just bear with them. We're going to try to let them take like 1 minute, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
I'm going to get right to the people.
شكرا وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. My job in the Majlis is the treasury. So one of the things that I look at is ways to make money. Matter of fact, that's my whole makeup. How to make money. Because in America we know nothing's free. How many people have been to the Majlis Eid? The Majlis Eid.
To the Eids that the Majlis have.
That's one of the things that we do. The Majlis puts on the Eid. It takes money. Not only does it take money, it takes people to make that operation run. It's all unity. It's all about the unity of the brotherhood. We can't keep complaining about things that's going on outside of the religion. We have to come together and we have to do what we have to do to make this thing work. One of the ways that it works is money. We need money. We need participation in the Majlis Ash-Shura. And the reason why we need that is to make this thing work. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Imam Bashir. I'm one of the newer imams on the Majlis Ash-Shura. Just to let you know that I am younger and I am different from many of the others on the sport because of diversity. Where in the Quran does it say that one race is better than the other? It never says that. It never. Verse 49:13. I'll just be really short. O ye believe, avoid superstition, as much for superstition in some cases is a sin. And spy not on each other behind their backs. Would any of you like to eat the flesh of his dead brother? Nay, you would abhor it, but fear Allah, for Allah oft returning most merciful. That's one of the verses, that we do not backstab each other's brother. No matter who we are, what we look like, we are one in unity as Muslims. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Brother Eli Mutaki Thomas. I'm the second in charge of the Education Committee along with Dr. Leo Schultz. Again, I'm from the Education Committee, not an imam. Alhamdulillah, we have been in charge by Imam Fareed and the imams of the Majlis to look after the affairs of the Muslims and actually all people in the Delaware Valley in terms of Islamic education. To that end, we have put together a few programs. In fact, one program last Saturday we put together programs to elevate the profile of the Muslim schools and Muslim education as done by Muslims, right? We want to put forward what the Muslims teach about Islam. Okay, that's our number one goal. And also last Saturday, we partnered with the School District of Philadelphia to do our first ever Teach and Reach event called Ramadan and Beyond, where the goal was to educate the educators about how they can support their Muslim students during Ramadan. Because year after year, we see this huge, growth in people who say that they're Muslim in the schools and a lot of activity amongst the youth. But for some reason, the adults are not getting ahead of that. So what we want to do is put some structure in place so that when the youth, when Ramadan comes and everyone says they're Muslim and they have to do this and they can't do that, we want to have everything in place and everybody on the same page. So alhamdulillah, we got participation from the school district and a lot of Muslim leaders, including Imam Fareed and the Majlis. And we want to continue to do that and go forward every year, and inshallah it will grow and get stronger. Another big thing that we did last year and we plan to do again this year is the Islamic Education Fair and Expo, okay? Where we have the Muslim schools come out and they get to know the people and the people get to know the schools, where they have options and we can strengthen the Muslim schools. Inshallah, we can have better Muslim schools in our area. Okay, so inshallah, you can look for that, which will be coming either late June or early July this year, the Islamic School Fair and Expo. Assalamu alaikum.
Inshallah ta'ala, my name is Ali. Came on Majlis like 2004. We were one of the younger imams, but that's 20 years we've been around, inshallah. And we come, like we talk about unity, inshallah ta'ala. And we want to, like, I remember when I was coming up as younger, we used to go to one Eid, and the Majlis Ash-Shura was the only Eid that we ever knew. So being on the Majlis Ash-Shura is a special thing for us. So we come to find out by us getting older that it's hard to stay in a position where your leadership is not respected. It's hard. Because one of the Salaf said that if you have a leader, then the leader should be around people who remind him that he's a leader or he'll forget. Because the dunya is elusive, like the Amir said. It's an illusion. So you're right. Illusion is the key. Because that illusion that they speak about is a highly devastating illusion. Especially going into a time when you're getting closer and closer to the last day. So the illusion for the youth and the manifestation for the youth that you see is a hierarchy of taking away their iman. It was a design. It wasn't something that would just happen overnight. It was a design. Quiet weapons for the silent ones. So inshallah ta'ala, if we try to focus on unifying and calling towards that unity that the Amir is speaking about and the rest of the imams is speaking about, then hopefully for the next 20 or 30 or 40 years, and we're still working on this, because it's a forever work, that we're coming a little bit closer to the reality of what we're trying to do, inshallah ta'ala, and manifestation of what we've been calling for so long is getting the youth involved, because we're getting older. Now I look up and I'm old too. I say, man, come on now. You know, so now it's the manifestation of how to capture that youth essence that you talk about in that age group, and maybe y'all can give us some insight on that, inshallah ta'ala.
Michelle, let me mention, so let's get to the audience now. One of the first things that I want to do, just by a show of hands, can any people out in the audience, can you raise your hand if you are a member of a masjid? Right? Can you raise your hand if you are a member of a masjid? Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, so that's real important because that was also in the survey that we don't belong to the masajids and we don't have no commitment to the masajids. And it's very important because membership has its privileges. Somebody got to marry you, somebody got to bury you, right? So it's very important. So I did want to see a show of hands of those who belong to a masjid. The other question that I want to ask, those out there, we want to ask by a show of hands again, if you are willing to join up with us and join the Majlis Ash-Shura as a general body. I mean, to be a part of the Majlis Ash-Shura. Let me see your hands. Okay? Okay, so I'm sure everybody want to get you to sign, or we're going to let you sign the sign-in sheet before you leave. We want you to fill out the survey, and now we want to actually get to you all, because we want to hear from you, because as Imam Yusuf said, right, you all, we want to hear from y'all. We can't just keep talking, y'all. We want to hear. So, well, I want to go first. We want to go with the questions, try to keep it brief, because we want to try to get to everybody, then we want to break fast. But the other thing is, if we can make a commitment, then you all got the floor. If we can make a commitment, because we can't finish this tonight, can we make a commitment, please, by a show of hands, those of us who want to finish this up, inshallah, next month, in 30 days? Okay, alhamdulillah. So inshallah, in 30 days, we'll have another town hall meeting. Okay, the people have spoken. Inshallah, in 30 days, we'll have another town hall meeting, because we're not going to finish this tonight, but we know that you all are committed and you're willing to do it. So you have spoken to us, and we're going to take it and get the date. We'll get back with the Amir. We'll get the date. We'll have another meeting so we can get to the bottom of this. So whoever ready to go, let's go. Raise your hand. Whoever want the mic? Uh-oh. Be careful what you ask for, sister. You just might get it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak. We thank Allah Ta'ala for this meeting. We thank Allah for the unity that has come today here at Masjid Muhammad for the reason of coming together to solve some of the problems that we have here in the city of Philadelphia and the Delaware Valley. So I just want to represent that Sister Fatima. She sent her greetings from over in Chester. This is the Women's Committee. The Women's Committee is going to be more live on this Majlis Ash-Shura because without the women, there's no life. So the woman brings life to everything that she touches, and that's how it should be. So we do represent the Muslim community at a really large number, and so the voice of the woman will be heard, and we will not be silent because there's a lot of issues that's dealing, starting with the home life, and of course then the community life. But it starts at home. Assalamu alaikum.
That's Sister Rahima. She's part of the Women's Committee. So I'll show you what, definitely want to make sure she's here. She's part of our Women's Committee here. And if she'd like, you can sit up here, if you'd like, sister. Okay, you okay? Yeah, because she is a part of the committee. She's shy though, but again, we want the women to be up here, you know, that's part of the executive committee and everything that's with us. So inshallah, Brother Alvin, he has a sheet going around for those who want to join the Majlis Ash-Shura and help us with this work. Please put your name and phone number on that sheet. The sheet is going around, and while the sheet is going around, who need the mic next? Okay, sister right here.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Sharifa Ali, and I want to be part of the Majlis, and I want to help do outreach for the foster children. The parents are needed. It is said that I have expertise. I don't have expertise, but I do have experience, and there's definitely a need. Rahima, I want you to be a part of the outreach for the foster care.
Yeah. And the foster care conference, so our next meeting, we're going to actually get a date for the foster care conference, the family life, and that'll be included in that. We'll have a date to actually have a conference for that. Okay, brother, let's get over here. So you got this brother here and then Brother Omar.
My name is Jabril. We have an outfit, an organization called the Cecil B. More
I'm sorry, what is it called? Give the mic.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Jabril. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi. We have an organization called the Cecil B. More Philadelphia Freedom Fighters. And we just attended a poetry slam. It was positive, but I noticed that those of our culture, melanated people, when we say we come around like for us, and I'm looking, and everybody has the dreadlocks and the cultural look, but nobody spoke to. Nobody. See, and if in order for you to like me, I have to give you something to like. See, I like to deal with the basics because everything stems from the basics. I'm a musician. I know about the bass. See, and one of the first things in my humble observation, one of the things that I see is that we have to get back, not back, we have to return to the basics.
Law like what?
As far as like young minds. When I was in school, I knew about the bricks, but I didn't know about the inside of the buildings because there wasn't nothing of interest. So sometimes we use the salutation, "Oh head." It's a salutation of dismissal because when they see us, that's how they don't want to be. Go ahead, Oye, go on out my face. So I deal with young folks, and the first thing I do is I engage on a human level. Not Islamic first, on a human level. Then we step from there. And I find that I invest in them and they invest in me, and we begin to grow together as a community that is also Islam. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Sorry.
First time with Brother Shukran. We got Brother Omar.
Assalamu alaikum. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna say this is definitely refreshing to see, right? And we keep on going, right? Keep on going, and we keep on moving. It's just a few things I looked at. There's one with the survey I would suggest that you add age, and if somebody wanted to put their race on it. That way you would know what the demographics are. Because like my son and nephew, they filled out the survey. So it's good to know if it's, where it comes from. Second, that meeting that we had Saturday at Majlis, right? It was a positive result from that because simultaneously at my children's school in mathematics, civics, and science, it has about maybe 1,000 students. They might got about 250, 300 Muslims that go there. And so the kids was like playing around, I guess like with a movie station and stuff. So the principal had stopped them from making prayer. They was going like in the classroom and stuff, and so she shut it down. Because her husband is Muslim. Principal, Veronica Joyner. And then she had said, well, I'll shut down the lunchroom after lunch. But it has to be like a Muslim man there to supervise it. So I said, okay, cool. So they started, so the kids got mad and upset. They reached out to Muslims for Humanity. And Muslims for Humanity had sent her a letter. And then she got a letter and said, oh, okay, cool, all right, fine. Y'all putting it on me like this, y'all on social media? Get some Muslim brothers to come inside this joint and hold it down. You got it. And so after lunch, she opened up true to her word, she opened up the lunchroom. So Thursday they did the regular prayer. She said, oh, everything went nice. But then she said it was two Muslim sisters after the prayer, they started fighting. But she said, I'm not gonna shut it down. She said, hey, listen, just bring some brothers here. So I came back, so I said, well, tomorrow's Friday. I said, we gotta have Juma prayer. We just can't do the prayer. What can we do? She said, yeah, come on, cool. As long as you got an email coming or something. So we reached out, couldn't get an email, right? So I was like, well, I'm going to go get a cookbook. Because I normally take my kids out early. So we went there, everything was lined up. So I said, oh man, I got there, alhamdulillah, I was a young brother who was like a senior. What's a young brother? Abdullah. He said, man, I got the cookbook, man. He said, I got my joint, I got this. Young brother, they called there, they down there, they counted, man, I'm telling you, man, it was beautiful, man. It was like one of the greatest, like sort of cookbook that I heard in a while, and it was a good thing. So it had been about like 100 students that was there, younger brothers, younger sisters, so I say all that to say. So I reached out to the school district, because it's right across the street, brought them over everything, and so he just sent me back, welcome to this meeting, like all his chief deputies, and said, man, y'all want to do Salat, y'all want to do Jumas, whatever y'all want to do in any of my schools. He said, North Carolina, man, he said, man, y'all got it. But we're going to need people to sort of go to each one of these schools. But it's open. And I say that meeting on Saturday sparked everything on. So I want to say keep on going to work and have my full support and whatever sort of we can do to sort of see how can we sort of merge local government, state government, federal government, right? So a lot of us need constituent services, right? So we should have it streamlined, where if anybody has any issue with like, could be their food stamps, could be Medicare, it could be whatever. A lot of times we might bug the emails for it. We have to do that. You know what I mean? We can have a point person for each part of our government could be on notice. So we got a Muslim council member, we got a Muslim sheriff, we got Muslim state senators, and then we can set somebody up in a federal office that when they call, we can provide whatever services it is. And then that way people can get back the things that you need because, to be honest, a lot of people aren't really using the system as taxpayers. So it's a lot of stuff out there that we're eligible for and stuff that we need help with. So we have a direct connection, we can get the constituent services. And then people still feel pride because it's like, yo, we went to Majlis so they get that. So I guess the way I kind of see it, we say, okay, what's the point of you being part of it? It'd definitely be that political wing, right? And then also, we can also have zoning. So if people want to open up their masjids, they should have come to Majlis Ash-Shura for us to get a zoning letter or support. That way we can have, and then all the council districts would be on notice because this letter came from the Majlis. And then that way you'll be able to open up your masjid, able to fit a dome on it, put signs on it. You can't do all that stuff without zoning, right? So those sort of things we're looking at, so you can count on me 1,000%. I'll talk to all my colleagues and we'll definitely sort of make that bridge. That way our constituents call me help, we'll make sure I get done.
So do me a favor, brothers and sisters, please, before you hand in the survey, please put your age on there and your race. Okay, and if you want to put your name, you can put your name, but please put your age and your race just as he said, because that's important for statistics and all. Okay, we have to know our numbers, we have to know our demographics. So please put your information on your age and your race as well. Okay, we got this young brother right. Oh, I'm still going next to Brother Mayor. You go first, Brother Mayor.
Can I get my wallet?
Oh yeah, your wallet?
Yeah, that one. Thank you.
Is your wallet? Yeah. Can you say please? All right, we said, can I get my money, man? Just get my money.
First, I just want to thank the Majlis Ash-Shura, all you brothers, brother Sitruddin, the Amir. My name is Amir Ibn Goodwin, and it's a beautiful forum that y'all put on here today. And it gives me a lot of inspiration to be a part of it. And secondly, I think that we need to have like a straightforward agenda directed towards like one thing, you know, like one thing at a time instead of trying to captivate multiple things. Just like the gentleman said briefly, we need to have a departmental resource center that could attack all kinds of things. And lastly, we got to get in these schools, man. We got to get to the schools. You know, that's one thing that we definitely had to do, you know, because all our children are being annihilated, you know, and a lot of them are uneducated. You know, and that's all I have. Sorry.
Okay, great slide. Just as the man said, it's about organization and structure, so we got to do that. And so we definitely want to make sure that we line it up like that so that we can cover everything. We got the young brother in the back too. We got sisters in the back. Okay. Then we got brothers in the back.
Assalamu alaikum. I just want to do a little reflection. All right, I'm going to tell my age. I'm 76 years old.
Oh, my God.
And I'm going to tell some other people's ages also. Amen, Sujadeen. And this is for us to open our minds up to youth. How old were you when you became imam?
I had to be like 21. 21.
How old were you when you got this building and helped with the school next door?
Nah, you're probably about 20, what, 25, 28, in my 20s again.
And I was there with you.
Yes, you was. In my 20s again.
Imam Rasul. I have to be careful. How old were you when you were teaching at Claire Muhammad?
26.
26. Okay. I was there when you were doing that. Amen. Yusuf. How old were you when you were at the school? You were the first person that was trying to learn Arabic and teach it to us on a little recorder. How old were you then? You weren't 40. You weren't 45. How old were your sons? Your sons are with my sons, so you couldn't have been in your 40s then. When you left Claire Muhammad to open your masjid up in your barbershop, how old were you? Okay, you don't have to tell, but that gives a little bit of history. You weren't near 40 because I had just got married. And I know how old I was when I first got married. Okay? Omar. I think I was maybe early 30s when I taught you 6th grade. Right? Okay. I'm not going to go around the room. I'm going to kind of stop there. But my point is, all of us was doing that, and we weren't past 35 years old.
That's right.
Do we allow our 35 years old to do anything?
No.
What has happened over time, all of a sudden people had to have qualifications, they had to know this, they had to do this, and they had to do that. And you get pushed aside if you don't do that. And then when you've even done that for 40 years, you're not even qualified to do it anymore. I'm not qualified. That's all I have to say.
We thank you for that, sister, but no, you don't have to be 35 to do anything. We need you all on deck. I don't care if you're 14, if you're 15, right? Because when we look in our community, most of our great leaders, they didn't live to be 40, right? So that means they were doing the work, man. When they was teenagers, they never even seen 40. You know, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the list goes on. Never even saw 40. So we have to open that back up to let these young people back in.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Shaheen. I go to Mathematics, Civic Science Charter School. We have to remember that we need to vote, and that voting is a very important part of Muslims. Right here? We have to remember that April 23rd, we need to come out and we need to make our voice heard among the community. And we also need to remember that our vote matters nationwide and globally.
All right. Takbir.
Welcome to Lawyer Better.
Hold it away from me a little bit. Hold it down some.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, if you can hold it down some. Can't pick up too much static.
Assalamu alaikum, welcome to Lawyer Better. Can the brothers hear me okay? Can the sisters hear me okay? I want everybody to pay attention to this face. Whenever you see this face, understand I'm coming to your majlis to speak on behalf of the youth, first and foremost. Sister, I'm sorry, what is your name, sister?
Shafiq, Sister Shafiq.
Sister Shafiq, I'm going to be transparent. Just now when she asked some questions, there was a lot of feedback going on, there was a lot of confusion. She asked a question regarding to someone's age. I was trying to understand the point that she was trying to make, and there was some unclarity, transparency that was given to the sister's answer. The first sister that spoke talked about our sisters, our homes. Another thing, when you see my face, I stand vehemently for the speech and the understanding of where the sisters come from. I stand on the side of having 4 sisters. I'm tired of seeing the Muslim sisters in our communities who take their time to express certain things, and it gets brushed aside, or when they're trying to voice their opinion, it's almost taken kind of lackadaisically, or it's like it's not taken as seriously as other things. So sister, I apologize if that was the case, or if you might have taken that the wrong way. I'm speaking up on your behalf. Now, I have a couple of things I'd like to speak about. First and foremost, we have 70 masjids, I believe, in the city of Philadelphia. And let me say one other thing as well. There was another brother that was here not too long ago. With all due respect, I don't think I want to use a microphone, I'm going to use my voice. I got y'all, give me 1 second. Bismillah, assalamu alaikum. Can you all hear me okay now? Yeah. Mashallah. There was a brother that was here standing up here a second ago, and as soon as he walked up, I immediately could tell something. He came from a different generation. He came from a generation where we didn't have to rely on certain things, and when you wanted your voice to be heard, you stood up and you spoke. Now, can you hear me again? Yeah. With that being said, I'm also doing this because you all have grandchildren. You all have children that are in these school systems, and when they interact with you guys, the first thing we hear is, oh, the children are all shy, they're all bashful. Well, they're looking at an example that can show them how to speak up from their guts.
Understood? Thank you very much. I'm glad the younger, now see, this is exactly what I'm saying. I want them to see these examples. Now here's where I'm coming, because transparently, I have come to the Majlis Ash-Shura before. I'm not sure if you guys remember my face. There's some new faces here. My transparent issue is, amongst a couple of other things, I previously came to the Majlis Ash-Shura. Can you all still hear me okay?
Yes.
I previously came to the Majlis Ash-Shura, and let me backtrack to another point as well. We love for the believers what we love for ourselves. As I'm approaching you, please do not mistake my passion for disobedience. I'm trying to go against you guys, none of that. I have family I'm looking up here. Imam Sweetie, my Abu, the Imam from Taha. Again, you've seen me since freshman year of my college years, so I'm not, you guys know where I stand. I'm standing in the sense of defense and passion. I'm trying to get some things done. I came to you guys my freshman, sophomore year of college, trying to do things for the youth. With all due respect, I was given the solution of, brother, you need to establish a bayah and you need to start attending our Arabic classes. I was a young person in college. I'm going to be very transparent. When you're a young person in college, when you're told, when you're going through the different things that you're going through to go to an Arabic class, that's not going to stop you from going to a dorm at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's not going to stop you from going to a party on Park Ave. It's not going to stop somebody from saying, yo, man, I think we can go fight some people off with some XYZ beat trunk, let's go turn up. That's not going to do that. That's flat out. And if we're looking now to this day, we've been in scenarios where the generation is telling us, come to the masjid for these events, come to the masjid for these events. Do y'all think these young kids with guns are going to put a gun down and go learn Arabic?
No.
Now I'm going to ask another question. We're talking about Arabic classes. All of us have Arabic names. This is a simple thing. How many of us can tell us the meanings of our attributes? How many of our children can tell us the meanings of their names? Now I see a handful of hands. This whole room should have their hands up. We all are fasting, so what's the lack of a connection? Now, pulling this back to the point of, like I said, going to when I came to speak with you guys, I came to try to establish some kind of a program for young Muslims that are going through things with violence, drugs, gangs, the whole nine, because at that time that was passionate to me. I had a brother that was in jail at that time. I didn't get to talk to him and do different things with him because of what he was going through. So I'm trying to step up and do different things, and when I'm coming to this board that has the power, the resources, 70 locations, plus, where we can take young Muslims and sit down in a holocaust and say, let's talk about the things that are plaguing our community. I'm told I need to go to an Arabic class and I need to go establish a bayah first. While I do understand that, with all due respect, there could have been a bullet that could have went through my head that weekend. I would have had no time to establish a bayah or to attend the Arabic class. Branching back to the point of this, firstly, we have young Muslims that are dying. Since I came to you guys at that meeting, we cannot count how many young Muslim lives have been lost, how many children of Islamic leaders have died, how many, Brother Mutaki, you remember when I said this, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect over and preserve over all of our older generations. I sat there and I said to you guys, we need to do things before the people on this side of the table are no longer with us. There's multiple of them that passed in that time frame. And now what happens when we're in a scenario, when we're trying to do things, and we're trying to come and talk to the brothers, and the first thing we do is we hear from the brothers, you know, these young guys, they scary, you know, I'm gonna be honest, they kind of out of pocket. They got guns, they got so-and-so. Y'all used to play with guns. Y'all established, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive me, back in them 80s, back in them 90s, back in them 70s, y'all know where y'all was at. Y'all know what streets y'all was playing on, and realistically, it goes down generationally. I was born in 1997. I can tell you everything that went on from 2005 in my city to 2023, and I can tell you exactly the lineage of all the gangs and who spread off and broke into what. And now I was in school and I was in college. That's external. So you mean to tell me that the generations that came from the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s can't sit back and grab whatever they got and say, hey, listen, we created these problems. We need to go out on foot and stand on the same la ilaha illallah that we stood on and not worry if they have guns, not worry if they have Dracos and switches and all these other different things. So I'm standing, and when I'm coming to you guys, the first thing I'm asking is, I need you to talk to the older men of your generation and tell them to stop being scared. It is a disgusting thought that we can walk around with the names of the Sahaba. I'm going to say this again. We walk around with the names of the Sahaba. We poke our chest out. We wear the throws. We do the whole nine. And when it comes time, when one of these young guys is outside with it, man, them young guys is crazy. They got guns. I ain't trying to get shot. La ilaha illallah. Do you not understand what a martyr is? We had Malcolm X, Khalid Muhammad. We have a variety of names of people that stood in the front lines and lost their lives. And at no point did they sit back and say, I'm scared of them young guys with guns. Back when y'all was out acting wild in the streets, y'all wasn't scared of cops with the guns. Y'all was trying to shoot out with the cops. Y'all was up there shooting up with blocks, and now all of a sudden, y'all can't go and talk to y'all nephews, y'all sons, y'all grandchildren. Y'all can literally not grab someone by their collar and drag them to the masjid, but y'all can go and watch them on these blocks late at night. It's a disgrace, and I'm not saying this to you in any way, shape, or form. I'm saying in the sense of, we want for the brothers what we love for ourselves. I stand very firm in accountability. I've been in positions of leadership. I still do stand in a position of leadership. Talk about that at a different time. That's not something transparently relating to this. However, I understand leadership. I'm not saying I'm in your position, but I'm not going to act dumb as if I don't understand leadership. With that being said, we have more pressure that needs to be applied. We can't be passive to these things. Are we going to wait for another death? Are we going to wait for another janazah? Are we going to wait for another scenario where somebody comes to us and says, hey, listen, there was a shooting and it looked like a mass shooting. We're looking for 5 young guys, and 3 of the young guys have full-out Islamic names that almost sound like they're an imam themselves. And what are we doing? We're sitting back, oh, you know, the young guys are crazy. They got guns. Y'all got guns in your house for protection too. Say Bismillah, put it on your hip and walk outside and snatch that stuff off their hip. Get them off the corners. It's a simple thing that we can do. And when we sit back and we're talking about the problems that we have and what we're not doing, and we're also sitting back looking at the lack of a leadership. These are your kids. These are your grandchildren. Bring them back into the masjid like they were back in the days of the nation. Clean them up, train them, and put them in the scenarios where they can sit back and they can get on the other side of this. Because hypothetically, in the scenario where, as the brother Omar said, how old was that young man, the senior?
Well, 14, 15.
That is insane. And we got grown men in their 30s that can't come up and talk in front of groups of young children. So when I'm saying this, firstly, I'm saying we need to start doing more. The men need to start doing more to bring the young men back into the masjids. Stop being scared. I'm going to say it one more time. If you are a grown man, you have a wife, and you're scared to go ahead and talk to these young kids on the street, brother, get a divorce. You a sucker. Flat out. That's what I'm standing on. If it's offensive, I'm sorry, but I'm tired of going to janazas for young men that look exactly like me. I'm tired of having to go and talk to mothers. Assalamu alaikum, sister, how you doing? I got to sit there and look at her while she can't tell me about missing her son and different things. I have one other thing I have to say as well. Another thing is we have these 70 buildings. It would behoove us at some point, monthly, to find one masjid where we can say, hey, let's have a platform or a summit monthly where all of the college graduates, where all the local entrepreneurs, where all the local business owners can sit down and come up with each other's ideas and network and build. You mentioned about the daycare. If I had my phone on me, I'll show you a picture. When I was at my construction site the other day, I'm behind this Spanish 10-foot Sprinter van, where they drive around, they pick up their own children in their community, take them to and from school. It's called Transporte Escola. I'll give you the number if you want. Realistically, we got brothers that got old vans sitting in their parking lot of their houses. Put some new tires on that. Switch that out. Go ahead and start running around. Now we got a temporary thing that can add to the foster care. Simple things. We have all the solutions. Another thing, we need to start looking at the different ways that we can actually do things and stop, oh, I don't got the money for this, we can't afford this. We can go and look at most of our masjids and we can do small things where we can go and buy 3 sets of brooms from Dollar Tree. That's $7 maximum. Congratulations, we got clean rugs, we got clean doorways, we got this, we got cleaner bathrooms. And then when the younger Muslims come somewhere and the younger sisters that are outside, I'm going to say it again, for the younger sisters that do not feel comfortable coming around Islamic settings, they can come and they can say, you know what, Sister so-and-so is so welcoming to me, I'm so glad I can come here and this feels like a second place I can call my home. So I'm just asking those things. And another thing, like I said, I'm asking y'all, I hope it isn't too much to ask, again, with the not being scared thing, it's the small things that show that y'all brothers aren't scared. You can go and walk up to a young man, Assalamu alaikum, what's your name? Because you pray to that. Do you know how to pray? I went to Clara Muhammad 2 days ago. I'm standing next to 3 young guys. All of them smell like weed. They falling over in their salat. I pulled 3 of them to the side after Assalamu alaikum. Do y'all know how to pray? No, not really. Give me y'all phone numbers. I'm going to send y'all a video. Why are y'all here? Y'all don't know how to pray. Not in the sense of don't come, but why didn't nobody teach y'all how to pray? So again, we need to start doing more and more things where there's comfortability to come. Talk to young kids. Create programs that sound appealing to the young people. They see the club flyers is appealing, but when it comes time with us, where are we doing the programs talking about the young sisters that are getting pregnant early? Where are we talking about the alcoholism in the Islamic community? Where are we talking about the substance abuse? Where are we talking about the physical abuse? Where are we talking about the lack of educational support? Where are we talking about how to go to college and survive as a young Muslim adult? Where are we having these conversations at? I don't see these plastered on any of our masjids. And again, I'm saying this out of love. This isn't throwing no shots. This ain't none of it, because I'm also the same Aki. If y'all were to pull me to the side afterwards and say, can you host this event? There are people here that'll tell you I'll do it. I've done it already. So, moving forward.
Well, you got it, son.
Now, here's, I want to be very transparent. I don't mean to be offensive when I say this. I'm saying this again with the utmost of respect. I got you. This is my last thing I have to say. With all due respect, I wouldn't mind signing that paper, but I've come to the board before, and it was a different interaction where I asked for something and it wasn't given to me. So here's what I'd say. I wouldn't mind joining and, you know, assisting the different committees, but with all due respect, I would prefer rather to come to the next event and have seen some kind of tangible takeaway before I personally. I'm only saying it because I was really in that scenario. I'm wrapping it up. Brother Mutaki was there with me again, where I spoke with the imams, and I'm in a painful scenario where I'm looking up here and I'm not seeing something. So again, like I said, I wouldn't mind signing it, especially with you, Imam Sweetie, you know this is home base for me. So you know I'm easy, I'm a phone call away. But for me, myself, I like to wait until I can confirm, oh, I saw that, that's beautiful. Inshallah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa
barakatuh. Now, what's your name, little brother? What's your name, young brother? Nasser. Nasser? Nasser. Yeah, Nasser. You know, Nasser wasn't here when we opened up. He wasn't here when we opened up. Right? So based upon everything he just said, is exactly everything we said in the beginning, right? So he didn't hear that part, so he don't even know that the law made him a confirmation of what was already said. Everything you just said was already said earlier about what we got to do. I mean, every part of what you just said. So that's a confirmation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that that's the condition, the state of our community. When we say what the state of us, what we got to do, that's where we are. So I just want to just interject that. And at the same time, though, even though you found, I would just suggest this, even though you found that when you came that time, there was no traction that came to what you were saying, just remember that the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu when he went to Taif, and there was no traction with what he said. But for him, you know, you still hear nobody stoned you, none of that kind of stuff. That day was the worst day of his life. Right? That day was the worst day of his life, though. So much so that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the angels to him to say, all you got to do, Muhammad Sallallahu, all you got to do is just say it. And we'll close the mountains and all these people here. They'll never exist again. You heard that story before, right? Okay. So the Prophet Sallallahu, what he said was, he didn't say he couldn't come back. He didn't say he wouldn't continue to be on what he's on. He just said, no, I won't give you that command to close it on him, because why? Not because of the ones that gave the command to go ahead and stone him. He said, but perhaps the children might believe. So you in a position now, Allah makes you there, we here, so the work still got to get done, and perhaps now somebody else that's there can hear it. So don't try to wait to see a result. You got to be part of the result. You got to be part of it. So inshallah, you know, we can't, you know, it's just like the same when you go out in between the guns now and tell them put it down, that's because you're part of it. So that's what we're looking for now, to be a part of it. Because everything you just said, you wasn't here to hear it. But they have a tape for it, and you go back and listen to the tape, and you'll hear everything you just said, that was said in our opening, and why we were here. SubhanAllah.
And so if somebody could give me, right now, I'm sorry, yeah, in April, 4 weeks, what's 4 Saturdays from now? Yeah, what's the date?
Now, we just choose the date, the magazine.
The magazine is what we got people to make sure we,
you can find out like what.
27th, that's April the 27th? That's the 4th Saturday? Okay, so the sheet goes down. So we can confirm that now? So that would be here.
Let's confirm that. We confirm the magazine.
All right, okay, so we'll confirm this, y'all, hopefully in the next meeting, which will be the first Sunday. It's the 27th. Okay, so hopefully, so tentatively, so we're going to go back to the Majlis Ash-Shura meeting for the first Sunday in April, and so we'll come out with the date. Okay, but we don't want to be leaving this. We want to try to do it again 30 days from now, so we can. No, it's not the same thing. We just got to get past the Eid, and then we'll get a Saturday in April. And so, okay, probably after the Eid, so we'll get a Saturday in April.
Alhamdulillah, to Brother Nasir, inshallah ta'ala, alhamdulillah, I remember back when we first opened our masjid, I think I'm 19 years old. I had the first youth masjid in Philadelphia. And O can tell you, and a lot of the people tell you, and a lot of the young brothers who are young imams here can tell you that we came the same way you came. And we said we want a major amount of youth now, right? We did the same thing, same energy. Look, what we want right now. They told us to get active in the masjid. Get active. So we got so active, we opened up masjids. And we got so active that we started to be on these boards, and that's how we got here with it. Even though we got shot down. We got shot down too. You see what I'm saying? So don't think that the Amir and them ain't listening to you, because it's the same thing they've been listening to for the last 40 years. But what they're saying is they're giving you a direct, how would you say, communication, and saying, if you want it, that this is what we need to see from you. If you say you have accountability, then the accountability that he's talking about is he's saying, okay, well, bring your homies into the masjid with you. Like you said, you was at Sister Claire Muhammad 2 days ago. Just all that week I was teaching Salat classes until Thursday, when they seen that I had all 1,500 youth that came there, learned the Salat. They said, oh no, you can't give it because I wasn't physically part of that masjid. Make sense? But I was an imam, giving classes, and I had all the youth, all week, all the way till Thursday night, when you see the brother come. You see what I'm saying? And I was teaching them prayer, salat, you know, what they needed to learn. And we see what they needed to learn. So what we're saying is that the door, like you said, the door is open for you to bring these people in, and there are some of us that will go to the street, and some of us be in the street. You know what I'm saying? That it's not hard for us to do that. So inshallah ta'ala, we listen, we hear you, bro. Inshallah.
So we get right back to you. I want you to give it to who you got? Somebody had another question. Right?
Brother, the black jacket on the white shirt.
Oh, black. Okay, so we're gonna let him get it right quick. Okay, all right, let him go right quick. Then we get back to the imam. Okay, because the imam came up. I want to make sure that you all know him, who he is. He's with us as well.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Akil. Imam Sutrudeen, you know me. I've been around here since about 2020. I came into Philadelphia from South Florida. Moved into the community for education and for work and whatnot. Since then, I've been moving around the city. I've spent a lot of time in Masjid Allah, and you'll see me around a lot right now. But what the young brother said, Brother Nelson or Nasser has said before, I think was extremely important. The Philadelphia community extremely underestimates their youth. They underestimate their youth. You guys underestimate the intelligence of the young black brothers and sisters within this community. So much so that, I mean, strictly from a secular standpoint, from an Islamic standpoint, you see what Ishmael is capable of doing to this community. You see what that brother is capable of talking about. I mean, I was looking at an article the other day talking about a 3D printed material used to automate Glocks within this community that's going around. Kids are 3D printing pieces of plastic to put into guns to make them automatic. And they're doing it themselves, right? So I say all this to say is that, like, this community has been in this status where all these brothers up here at the top of this Majlis Ash-Shura, who are over the age of 50, I'm assuming, have been sitting there just holding space. But the reality is that these brothers is ready to stand up and take charge. And if you don't, you're going to get the kids that's making the pieces of plastic to put in the gun to make them automatic to start shooting other kids because they got nothing else to do with their time. And it's a sad reality of the situation, but that's what's going on. SubhanAllah, I was working with the Jawala Scouts doing engineering activities, and I didn't even have to show them nothing. I was just putting them into the activities. We had kids 7, 8, 9 years old designing model hearts. You know, figuring out how to create medical devices with catheters and stuff like that. And they was doing it themselves. I just had to tell them how to do it. And these young brothers from our community, from Masjid Allah, from Masjid Muhammad. So it's about time to tell you guys, we had this town hall, right? This is what you want to hear. It's about time that you guys figure out a way how to step down and have these brothers step up. That's how the change is going to occur. Work together. You got to work together. But it's got to be willing. We're not trying to kick y'all out. No, we want you guys to step down and create the path. Ishmael, step up, get up there. Brother Nelson, step up, get there. you know, say, stand up, get up there, whatever the case may be, but it's that time, inshallah. And that's what I really want to say. You know,
That's why you all are here tonight, inshallah, and that's why we're gonna have a continuation, so we can take it and move you all right in where you need to be at. I think, Garcia has his hand up again, you want to get the email, but go ahead, let him add what he wants to get, but let's get the email.
Again, I understand, and I hear exactly what the brothers are saying. I just heard one of the emails say that we're listening. I have to be honest. I hear you guys are saying that you're listening, but from my I'll give an example. My organization was student of the organization year 2 times at Temple University. When we had an emergency that we needed to do, we sat in the room for an hour and we said we're going to figure out a place. Just now I asked if we could have a potential location for the young people to network at. With all due respect, we got 70 managers. Y'all could have said, yo, next Friday come to this masjid at 7 o'clock and y'all can meet there. And
You come right here, come in tomorrow, come in next Friday. You know you can bring anybody here.
We can do that. But
yeah, and you don't have to have my permission. This is a masjid is open. Bring them here.
Now,
any day you want to.
But with that, I appreciate that y'all saying that. Yeah. But respectfully, it should have been said like a minute ago when I was on.
That's okay, sure.
And with that also, again, I'm not trying to like throw it and make it sound any kinds of ways, but like the brother was saying, and I heard what you said, you know, you're talking about my passion of the now. It's because somebody blocks away is about to get shot, probably right now. We're being honest. And I'm not saying that in a negative way, but I'm saying take the time with the young people who have the energy that are trying to act at the moment while you have it. Because in a month from now, I could wind up married with kids, and I'm saying, you know what, I got to lock up with my wife. So I don't look at me, I'm going to catch you, I'm moving somewhere else. I got to, you know, so when I'm asking that, and when we're asking that, we're saying, listen to the youth. I have to be honest, and I'm going to ask you all, raise your hand if you've had somebody at my age that has approached you with the same energy, with the same topics in the past 3 months. Being honest, have you? I'm son. Aside of me. If you guys haven't, again, going back to like the brother said, the youth wants to be heard. We're tired of being in scenarios where we're coming to brothers and saying, okay, join this committee, and then we have to wait a whole month for a meeting and then do these things. We want to do things immediately. We don't have time to wait, brothers.
I'm with you. The sister, that point that she made, she reminded us by way of our own selves, how old were you when we were doing this work? That was her point that she was making. And so she did it by saying, first of all, acknowledge that she was old enough to remember all of it, and then confirmed us to say, who were you at? What age were you at when that was going? Because I remember you being in the work. Right. So that's and we right there. So you in it. You just got to do it. And so now the brother just told you. So he just said a minute ago. You just said it down. So you bring him in.
So we got next Friday as an example. We can come. So let me ask this, because with the possibility, the assumption, let's say realistically in Philadelphia, somebody might get shot tonight. When would y'all be willing to do a potential, let's say, gun drop off for the Muslim community? Would y'all want to do that next week as well?
Next week. So we line it up next week.
A gun drop off to go.
No, no. We line it up next week. We had a gun drop off here before. Yes. Right. I don't know what other masters did or whatever, but we had it here before, and we will have another one here again. Okay, this masjid is open for anybody. That's how I became the imam, because I was at one masjid, and they was picking committees, and I raised my hand, and he said, no, not you, little brother, let's get somebody else. And like I said, he said, we opened up our own masjid.
And as I'm walking away from my new speaks as well, Imam Sweetie, I thank you so much, because I know you're for work. Yeah. But transparently, I'm saying because we have 70 masjids, and I'm only seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 imams, and we have 70 masjids. So this isn't for you guys, with all due respect. This is for the other 62 that aren't here at the moment.
Now, we appreciate it, but whatever y'all want to do, anybody, whatever you want to do, you want to set something up, this place is open. You don't need no permission. You don't have to have a 6-month appointment. Come right here and come in and let's do it.
Alhamdulillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. One of the things I think that we all have to understand, and praise be to Allah, some things that some of the classes I've been in lately have actually opened my eyes to some things that are real. Have you ever, when you sat down and made your niyat for salat, did you ever think what you did after that? After that, as the hadith says, actions are but thy intentions. So that means that once you make the intention, now it's time for action. Allah says that in the Quran, He says He will not change the condition of a people So their first change was in their own hearts, was in their own souls. One of the things that we have to do is that we got to become passionate about saving lives. Okay? And I say that because I come from an era that if you didn't come to the mosque or the masjid then, we brought it to you. We came out in the street and brought you in. We have sisters, we have mothers who are suffering. And when you say that I love for my brother, I love for my sister, I love for myself, if you felt that pain, if you had that love, conditions wouldn't be like it is today. I don't say that to try to rain on nobody's parade. But what I'm saying is this, and we all know this, we are all lax as a whole. If there's 70 messages in this city, wherever there's 70 messages, if it's only one, it doesn't matter. We got young brothers who are dying in the street, and they're dying because we have to go out there and get real with them. You know, I think about when we used to come up here like years ago, and you know, we seen like the gangs like at that time. I was one of the guys that was over on like Susquehanna. When we was over on Susquehanna, I wouldn't care what it was. You could leave the car doors open, you could do whatever you wanted to do. You let somebody catch you in one of them cars. Let them catch you. We didn't have cell phones and none of that, and we wouldn't even use them. If we caught you in that car, you belong to us. I feel hurt to know that in this day and time, we have to lock masjid doors. People should feel, if I go in there, if they see me coming out, tell my parents to bury me as so and so and so and so. Dear brothers and sisters, this is a great effort on behalf of the imams, and I tell you, a lot of my work is done like in the prison, so I guess I may sound like a little hard. But let me just say this. I've always admired Philadelphia. I think some of the best and some of the strongest brothers have come out of Philadelphia. Don't let that legacy die. Don't let it die. For those who want to come out, tell them, let's go. We can't keep waiting. We can't. Bring the young sisters out as well. We all got to do this together. If we sit back and continue waiting and waiting and waiting, you know what's going to happen. There'll be another janazah. We have to take Mashur publicly. Any brother who comes to the masjid, any sister that comes to the masjid, we won't put an award or a reward out for you. We should never stomach anything that brings harm to the community. The hadith says that not just in one part of the body ails, all of the body ails, but it says that a Muslim's blood is sacred. Think about this. A Muslim's blood is sacred. Have we showed people that Muslim blood is sacred? Because right now in Hamas, over in Gaza, they're pulling babies out. Do you know I sit in my bedroom sometimes, I have to close the door, I cry. I would love to go over there and fight. I say that sincerely. I would love to go, and I may not come back, but I know that what lays ahead of me is greater and better than what's back here if I got to keep pulling babies out of the rubble. I'm looking at like the child here. We can't keep letting things go on that's going on. You know, this is beautiful, and believe me, I'm here for supportive. I'm going to always be supportive. You know, I just pray to Allah that the differences, we don't have no differences, brother. I want to say that first and foremost. We don't have no differences. Everybody has said, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. So that stops everything. But we got to do something. And I pray to Allah that Allah will help us. Ameen.
So they have the book right here, Sex Education. I believe it's $10. All the money and proceeds go to the Majlis Ash-Shura and the IR committee. So please, if you need this book, it's an excellent book written by Brother Yasir Uqda. So inshallah, let's get this book if you can, Sex Education. Okay, $10 for the book. And they have the book here on sale, I believe it's $10. They take cash app and everything else, and the proceeds go directly to the Majlis Ash-Shura. Okay, so I want to make sure we have that.
We'll wrap it up with something. We'll wrap it up. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. I just had to say something to you. My interaction that I had with these brothers, I didn't feel any type of disrespect. I've known them for years. And whoever you thought might have been disrespecting me, he was thinking. He was thinking. He wasn't being disrespectful. And these brothers up here, including Brother Latif, brother here, they've never ever really been disrespectful. We might have had arguments, and maybe I was the one that was the most one out of control. I'll admit it. But even in that, they still showed me respect. So I didn't want to leave out of here and leave that thought on your mind, because you're younger, and sometimes when you see males and females communicating, it's not actually what you think.
Okay, the sign-in sheet, brothers. I seen all the hands go up there. Say you want to be a part of Majlis Ash-Shura. Please sign your name and your number, okay? So we can call you, and we will announce the next meeting, inshallah, right after our meeting, the first Sunday in April. We will announce the next meeting, and that next meeting is we will be getting busy. Okay, so please, let's sign the sheet, please.
I know we just brother too.
I'm sorry, Brother Rafiq just wanted me to remind you, we got to close out, we got to break fast, that the Office of Muslim Affairs, they did appoint a Muslim to the Office of Muslim Affairs under the new mayor administration in the city of Philadelphia. So we need to capitalize on that, just what Brother Omar has said, but we do have a Muslim who is the head of the Office of Muslim Affairs down at City Hall. Okay?
Yeah, man. Because when I was told, when I first started politics, a lot of imams told me not to do it. We couldn't do it. We couldn't be able. There was only one imam. It was Imam Suchuddin. He said, "Nah, man, we gonna elect you." He bought TV commercials, radio commercials. Said, "Man, we gonna get you in here, man." So I'm
got
just
more
saying.
votes than anybody in the history of the office.
So just do it, man. We with you.
Okay, so we're gonna close out, Shaw. We'll come back again. I'm sorry, that one brother, he had a question or something, brother?
No, I didn't have a question. I just want to know who's in charge of the Muslim affairs.
Dr. Kais Abdullah.
Kais Abdullah.
And also, I went to something Christians did back in the 90s. They had all these lawyers, and they got your records spun. Y'all do record expunge?
Yes, we do.
I find
So
out a lot of
yeah.
young brothers got records.
We do. We're going to take care of all that. And so the next meeting, all of that will come out. We do have that. There's the sheet. Thank you, brother. Okay, so we're going to close out so you all can break fast, inshallah. We got a big iftar out there, all the food out there. We'll be able to eat the food, inshallah, and then we promise you, by the grace of Allah, we will come back, and we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts our Ramadan.
Ameen.
Okay. Do it, please, right now. Close it.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله آمين.
Okay, while we going out to eat, the little brother, you want to say something, right, fans? We can hear you on our way out. Yeah, say what you had to say. We're not going to shoot you down. Say what you got to say.
I just want to say dua.
Go ahead, say the dua, please.
Okay. رضيت بالله وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد رسول الله آمين.
Amen. They said it was in the house. But yes, I do call that in the house too. We're going to call it down right now. We're going to call it down. Right here. Right here.
Good time.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Hayya 'alas salah. Hayya 'alas salah. Hayya 'alal falah. Hayya 'alal falah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
I know, it's crazy. I was looking for a little favor to call. I was looking for a little